Hi, welcome to Masters of the Musiverse. This is French Press Friday. We are season 2, episode 2, and I hope I'm hitting the stride that I can maintain for the rest of this season, where I release an interview every 2 weeks. The first interview was a Masters of the Musiverse interview. Masters of the Musiverse is a dedicated conversation about something specific in music, like last week's or 2 weeks ago conversation with Keith Osvath about technology in music classrooms. And then French Press Friday, which is today, is a conversation with a teacher about what's going on in our classrooms right now. Or in this case, what's going on TikTok. Because this week's interview is with Felicity Jenkins. She is the TikToker. She is the TikTok user. Whatever. She is the chromatic music teacher on TikTok. That works. And she's super entertaining. And I think you'll find her videos very inspiring too. The content is interesting because she does everything from like her fashions for the week, her teacher fashion for the week.
I wear this on Monday, wear this on Tuesday, wear this on Wednesday, wear this on Thursday, wear this on Friday.
Or quirky holidays for the day.
Fun and quirky holidays to celebrate this week. Monday, June 14th, National Strawberry Shortcake Day.
And she has, would a gajillion be a proper number for the amount of videos she has with boomwhackers?
She's just too hard-headed, a single mom.
Singing on Troubadour, born in 1964, Jeffrey Bezos.
Felicity, it was just a joy to talk to and work with. She's headed into her second year of teaching, but she knows what she's doing. She's got a good head on her shoulders, and she's ready to just keep on killing it in her teaching and on TikTok. So while you're watching today, take some time to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and social media would be great too. But also take some time after the interview to go find Felicity on TikTok and watch her videos. They're entertaining. They're fun as heck. I know you'll enjoy it. So let's cut to the interview now. Okay. So welcome to French Press Friday here on Masters of the Musiverse. I've got my coffee. Today I'm excited to speak with Felicity Jenkins. Thank you for being on today, Felicity.
Thank you for having me.
So I'd like to ask everyone to take a moment, subscribe to the podcast, the YouTube channel, like this video, click the bell to be notified when new videos come out with guests like the wonderful Felicity Jenkins, the chromatic music teacher. So I'm a new fan of Felicity's. In addition to being a music educator, she creates quite a bit of content on her TikTok account. Most recently, a recording of her playing Stars and Stripes on Boomwhackers came across my Facebook feed, and I was quite amazed. I've done some things like that, and I know what kind of time can go into, especially editing that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I immediately went to your page and I saw you've got a really large following. You have 500,000
Mm-hmm.
followers. A ton of fun content. We're going to get into the TikTok stuff here in a moment. But I'd like to start. I was just asking you, where do you teach and what do you teach?
So I'm from Ohio, and I teach elementary music, so kindergarten through 5th grade.
All right. What were your early music experiences? When do you remember kind of being first exposed and kind of clicking with music?
Yes. So my mom started teaching me piano when I was 6. So that was, my earliest playing an instrument. I still play piano and absolutely love it. I became obsessed with some musicals when I was really young. So my school, there was an elementary school, one middle school, and one high school. And so when I was in elementary school, we would get to walk over to the high school and watch their musicals. So when I was in kindergarten, they did Oklahoma, and I absolutely fell in love with it. So that started kind of a love of musical theater there. But joined band when I was in 6th grade, and I played the saxophone. And my school was really small, and I was able to join marching band in 7th grade. So I was 12 years old when I started marching band, which was awesome. So I ended up getting to have 10 years of marching band overall, when most people only get to have 8. So I was really grateful to get to do that. And then I became drum major of my high school's marching band when I was a sophomore. And that's really what inspired me to become a music educator. I got to, lead rehearsals and conduct, and I absolutely loved it. So majored in music education, studied saxophone in college. I was also a drum major in college for 3 years, and here I am today.
I'm always curious when we talk about college experiences in particular about
Mhm.
some of, and you can go back further if you want, but talking about the educators that inspired you and
Mhm.
that you encountered along your path.
Yes, so I had 2 high school band directors. Mr. Mann and Mr. Jarvis were both really big influences on me and just really encouraging. There was another girl I graduated with that went into music education, and she's one of my best friends. They were very encouraging to both of us just to pursue our dreams. And I actually got to work band camps for both of them. So both of them gave me some really good teaching experiences when they can be kind of hard to come by, before you graduate and everything. And then also my collegiate band director, the music education chair, and my saxophone professor. Those 3 in particular in college were just really inspiring. And all 3 of them, always had an open door that I could go talk to just for wisdom and advice. And they had a huge impact on me in my career as an educator.
I imagine they influenced like how you teach as well. You probably had
Yes.
that same kind of open door with your students.
Hmm.
Yeah. So let's jump into this TikTok stuff. I'm going to switch here. I got a new toy, and I just want to show people a little bit of what caught my attention. Okay, we won't watch it all right now. But so I'm curious, like, how did TikTok start for you? When did you start creating content?
Yes. So I actually downloaded TikTok for the first time right after my senior saxophone recital, which was in November of 2019. I'm glad that I waited until after my recital to download TikTok because it can be addicting. Um, but I watched TikTok throughout all that time, and I would make just a few little videos that never really did well. But I enjoyed watching TikTok. And then I created my teacher account, which was a separate account, when I first became a music teacher. So I was actually hired mid-year this year, just with COVID craziness and everything. I wasn't hired until November, so didn't get started in August. But I made my first video on that account, my very first day of my job. And it was, again, it didn't really do super well or anything. And I really didn't do very much with that account until this spring. I started to have a few more videos that started to do a little bit better, started to gain a little bit of a following. It's like, okay, I can put some more time into this. And the first one that really, really took off, I decided to play Happy Birthday on the Boomwhackers. It was a lot different than my current ones. It was very not not precisely edited together. It was very, you know, not greatly done, but I woke up and it had like 100,000 views. And so I figured out that Boomwhackers were going to be the ticket
Your
to
thing.
TikTok success. So I've been trying to stick with that from now on, and it's worked really well.
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, I just pulled up your stats here. It's actually
Mhm.
594,000. You're almost at 600,000 followers
Yes.
with 11.5 million likes. And again, I'm
Mhm.
not in TikTok deeply. I do more YouTube stuff. But if those were YouTube numbers, I mean, like that'd be bonkers.
Yes.
And you just started in the spring with this.
Yeah, really getting started.
Holy
I think
cow.
I made one video in November, I think one in January. It was like maybe one a month. And then yeah, really got it started. April and May is when I really started, focusing on what I was making and spending more time on it.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to talk about this. I didn't put this down, but is this potentially like some revenue creation for you as well?
It
Like a
is.
side?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically like a second job. There is the TikTok Creator Fund that you can join when you have 10,000 followers. So there is revenue from TikTok itself, and then also opportunities for partnerships with brands. So there's
Right.
a marketplace for creators that brands can contact you.
And I'm guessing with your creative clothing, but which by the way, I wore this shirt specifically because I was talking to you. Because if you go back
Awesome.
again, go check out Felicity's videos because she's got all kinds of fun dresses. Have you connected with some people there, like so you can kind of market for them while you're doing these?
I've had really kind of one outreach. There was a shoe company that reached out to me, and I got a pair of shoes with lemons on them. So that was really fun. But I do have a couple clothing brands that I would really love it if they would want to partner in the future.
With your numbers, I bet you it's going to happen at some point in
I hope
time.
so.
Do your students know about your account?
They do. I didn't tell any of them about it, but then as I would show up on their For You page and everything, and they'd come to school and they'd say, Miss Jenkins, I saw your TikTok. It's like, oh, cool. And I make sure that everything I put on my account is 100%, kid friendly. Like there's not ever going to be a song on there that would be inappropriate for them to see, or I'm not ever going to use. Sometimes there's a really fun TikTok audio that you want to use, but then it's got a cuss word in it. So I avoid
Yeah.
anything like that because I want it to be a place that my students can watch my videos and not have to worry about what they're seeing.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got to tell you this because it maybe shows the difference between maybe one our ages, but also like our students. So I did something last year. I made a video of myself playing Pomp and Circumstance for my
Hmm.
graduating class, and I got quite a bit. It got 44,000 views. But the really cool thing was I got to be interviewed by Steve Hartman on CBS Sunday Morning,
Oh,
and
cool.
NBC Nightly News and Inside Edition, like all this stuff that I thought was pretty cool. And just this last year, when we were getting ready for graduation, my students were like, "Hey, didn't you do something? Did you record?" Like they had already forgotten a year
Yeah.
later. And then I was like, "Yeah, it was really cool. I got interviewed for CBS Sunday Morning," and they were like, "Meh." I need TikTok, I think, in order to be cool in my students' eyes. So I'm going to work on that.
They
Um,
do. They love it, and I've been surprised. I kind of expected once I started to take off on TikTok that my fourth and fifth graders would be, because I know that that's the age a lot of kids are on TikTok. But I've had students who are in first grade come up to me and they have their own TikTok accounts, and I was just kind of flabbergasted by that.
so when you're like, do you have some goals for the content you're creating, or is it more like this, just you get an idea and you go with it, or is there some overarching goal?
A little bit of both. Sometimes there will be TikTok, the trends can come and go within a matter of days. So you just have to be watching along with creating, seeing what's out there and what's happening with the trending songs and with the trending, types of videos. But I do generally try to have, boomwhacker videos. I like to post 1 to 2 a week. That's slowed down a little bit in the summer, but once I'm back into school, it'll be a little more regular. So, boomwhackers, I like to post about my outfits. So, the last part of the school year, there was a song where it would say, wear this on Monday, wear this on Tuesday. So, I would record my outfit each day. I like to tell fun little stories, about the students. I just make sure that I don't include any names or any,
Like the
identifying
third grader
information.
that ate a styrofoam plate, I believe.
Yes, yes. So just fun little stories. I had one that there were two fourth grade girls who invited me to a funeral for a spider, and I went to it. And so people really they like to talk about that. And the girls, they came up to me and they said, "Why did you say our names in the video?" I said, "Guys, it's for your own good."
Yeah.
And then I also like to talk about the quirky holidays. So those four things are what I probably focus on the most, but also things just might come up that I just want to make a fun video about.
Yeah. Okay, so your name is the Chromatic Music Teacher.
Hmm.
So I create content under the Masters of the Musiverse brand. For
Hmm.
me, that comes from my childhood. I was a huge fan of He-Man. He was master of the universe. So I'm curious, where does the Chromatic Music Teacher come from?
Yeah, so when I created my account, and didn't really think it was going to go anywhere. It was just Ms. Jenkins music or something kind of generic like that. And then I decided that when I started to grow a little bit, I wanted to have a rebrand that would be something that I could use across a lot of channels. So I have, Chromatic Music Teacher on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. It's the same everywhere. But I just kind of brainstormed some ideas, and I wanted to tie in my love of color and my love of quirky fashion somehow with music. So chromatic worked really well because you of course have the chromatic scale in music, but it also means relating to colors. So
Sure.
that's where chromatic came from.
That's great. Yeah. So, okay. You also have a teacher pay teachers account too,
Mhm.
because I think I found some things on there. So, well, I'm going to link all this stuff too. So people please go and visit Felicity's stuff. I want to talk a little bit about editing videos like Stars and Stripes
Mhm.
Forever, because again, I've done some of that stuff. My gut says that about 10% is actually recording the video, and 90% is editing. Is that pretty
Absolutely.
accurate?
Yes.
In
So
fact,
the
no, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, so when I was mentioning that first happy birthday video that I did, I actually just did that in TikTok, and I would record it. And if you watch really closely, you can see my feet start to move because I run to stop the camera so that because they had the only the 60-second time limit at that point instead of 3 minutes. So it was not a very precise process at that point. And then as I started to make more, I was playing each note for how many times it appeared in the song. And then I'm figuring out I don't need to play each note twice. I just need to play it once. So basically, my process now, I've done this a few times just so that I can have it in different outfits. I will get the camera all lined up. I usually just have my phone, the the flip form folding stages. I have some of those, and my phone sits up against a container of wipes in my classroom on the flip form. It's just where it happened to be. So that's where I would set my phone, and I would lock the exposure on the recording so it looked the same, and get my feet in exactly the same place, play each note, smile, hold it for a few seconds, and then reach back to switch so that I look like I was in the same place the whole time.
Yeah. And, I got to tell you, like, I have laughed out loud at so many of those videos, like when you're in the same place for so long and then all of a sudden you're striking all these different poses.
Yeah.
Like you're just super creative and clever. I really
Thank you.
enjoy it. Yeah.
Okay.
So when editing your videos, like what equipment are you using from the beginning to the end of the process? Like what are you recording with? Is it just your iPhone?
Yes. So I have an iPhone 11 Pro Max. So I record on there, and then I edit with Final Cut Pro on my MacBook. So that was something I actually started when everything shut down last year for the pandemic. I had a lot of time on my hands. I was actually student teaching, and my responsibilities were much smaller. I was still doing some virtual teaching, but Apple had a 90-day trial of Final Cut Pro, and I realized I could do a lot more with it than with iMovie. So I downloaded it and learned a lot of things. Actually, I did a really big virtual ensemble with some of my friends from college, and that was kind of my big learning project with Final Cut Pro.
Yeah. I similar, but I got Final Cut Pro last year.
Hmm.
And I got really obsessive over it. Like I was really playing with all the things. And in the process, when I was learning it, I was talking to a jazz guitarist. He was doing a video for me, and I said, it's like I'm not playing my instruments right now. I'm just into this Final Cut Pro all the time. And he's like, dude, that's like your new instrument. That's what. And I was like,
Hmm.
oh, it totally is. Like it was
Yes.
in a similar way, just figuring out all the little things and the puzzles. I've always said that to students too. Practicing should be looked at as like a puzzle that we're trying to solve.
Hmm.
So yeah, and I'm again imagining like all those little splices, like getting the timing right for those. Boy, that must just be a ton of time, because
So
each little segment has to be metered out to the exact amount of time that you need to fit the rhythm, right?
right. So basically, what I did at first, I was just kind of doing it by ear, and it was just going to take a really long time. So, my kind of little secret for how I do it, I actually record a metronome at the tempo that I need, and I have it subdivided. And then I put that audio file in there so that I can put a marking exactly like, okay, this is going to be on the end of beat 2. I put the little marker in there, and then each of my clips, when I go and cut it up, I put the marker where the strike is happening with the boom whacker, and I label it, C with the octavator cap on. And then I can basically just copy and paste, and I just adjust the lengths of the clips. But it's really about getting them lined up with the markers on the metronome track.
Yeah. So how far out are you planning videos? Like, for example, this video that we're doing right now, it's the week of the 4th of July in 21, but I'm probably not posting it until August. So how far out are you planning things?
I have a big list on my iPad just of ideas that I have. It's not super specifically planned, but certain songs that I know are not really just something that's trending on TikTok at the time, but something that people just like in general. So some songs that I want to do eventually, and then the things that I would have as recurring videos, like I'm going to do the outfits of the week again and talk about the holidays and things like that upcoming. And then again, there's the element of you just kind of have to see what's trending on TikTok, and you really just have to jump on it. So like when the Backyardigans songs were really popular on TikTok towards the end of the school year, I made one for Castaways, I made one for Into the Thick of It, and one for International Super Spy, and those are really popular for maybe a week, and then something else comes along. So you just have to jump on those trends.
So I'm going to use this to transition then into talking a little bit more about your teaching. You had mentioned that the thing about quirky holidays. You have this thing. Is that a part of your classroom as well? Do you celebrate?
Yes. So I try to reflect the quirky holiday in my outfit as much as I can. I know that's not always possible, but National Pizza Day, I got a pizza Hawaiian shirt that was really fun, and I'd had these tomato earrings that I didn't think I'd ever have a chance to wear, but that was the perfect day for them. So it's fun because my students, this year I was actually teaching on a cart, so whenever I would come into their classroom, they would immediately be trying to guess what the holiday was. And sometimes I would just tell them, I said, guys, you're not going to guess it today. It would be like rotisserie chicken day, and I was wearing a polka dot dress or something like that. They just weren't going to get it. But it is something really fun that they enjoy to learn about. And then I've got a calendar. My students all have my website so that they can go check the holiday throughout the summer and everything. And they just really enjoy it.
I love things like that because I like the student engagement obviously increases right away. Like they're tuned in right away when you walk in the room. So that's great. So could you summarize your teaching in a few sentences? I know this is sometimes difficult to do, but I'll just say, for example, I love engaging with students. I've always said that I don't teach music. I teach students through music. And I love the ways that music can foster close relationship with students. And we get to have big impact on their lives. So do you think you could summarize your teaching in a few sentences?
Yes, and it's still growing and evolving. I'm just going into my second year, but I think one of the biggest tenets of my teaching for me is just believing that every student is a musician, and I call them my musicians sometimes, and just fostering the music that every student has inside them. And they might not think that they have a great voice or that they can play an instrument or something, but just fostering that in them, and then showing them that music is for everyone, and being able to express ourselves through music.
Yeah. If you could go back in time now to, like, I was going to say the beginning of the year, but for you, it was, did you say November is when you got hired?
November, yes.
So if you could go back to November coming into like the year, is there anything you would give, any advice you'd give yourself and subsequently other people that are heading into their first teaching?
Yes, I would say I had a couple ambitious virtual ensemble goals that I maybe procrastinated on a little bit, that starting earlier on those, they got finished, but just I didn't do a super great job with planning far out this year, or this past year. I want to do better with that. And it was difficult because we were fully virtual, we were hybrid, and we were fully in person. So I was dealing with all three, and it was just kind of difficult, never knowing what was happening from week to week. We had a big ice storm, and we were closed for 3 weeks. So just different things like that were challenging. So I couldn't have really planned too far out, but I also could have done a bit better in that area.
Yeah, that was, I mean, that's the story of this year for so many people. Because like we were hybrid, and so we were getting a concert ready that kind of fit that hybrid model, and then right before the concert we switched to online. So then
Mhm.
we were getting some things ready that we could do online, and then we went back to full. So it was like the rug was kind of constantly being yanked, and
Right.
we just dealt with it, right? So generally speaking, I wake up, I'm excited for each day of school. I am, maybe to some people annoyingly so, like, I love my job. I feel blessed to have it. 9 days out of 10, I can't wait to get in and rehearse music with students, teach a new idea, talk to my amazing students. What is the thing or things that get you excited for a new school day?
I really like just getting to see the students again. And this year I had morning car duty. So the beginning part of the year when the parts we were in person, I was taking temperatures in the morning when the students were getting out of the cars. And it was just really a good way to get to know them, just being new to the school and everything, and having been virtual and everything, just trying to get to know my students better. So I really enjoy just getting to see them. And it's just a very positive work environment that I'm in, just a lot of really positive coworkers, and getting to see them and learn from them. A lot of them have been there a lot longer than I have. So just that was something I really enjoyed this past year, even with the challenges of teaching from a cart, actually getting to go into the different classrooms and see how they were set up, and how they operated and everything. I think I was able to learn a lot from that, even though ideally in this year I will get to be back in my room.
Great. So I'm always looking for teaching nuggets. I'd love to share them on here, whether they're from me or from somewhere else. Is there one thing that you could share with us that might make us all just a little bit better?
Hmm.
It's
It's a
a tough
tricky
one.
question. Yeah, I think going back to my just viewing my students as musicians, and just the potential that they all have to learn, and just and making music fun. Like it should always feel fun to them. I know there might be aspects of it that some don't like as much as others, but making the music classroom just a really fun and welcoming environment. I of course want it to be a very colorful environment, and I just want it to be the students know what to expect, but look forward to coming every day.
Yeah, that's something I've said, I've argued with people before too, is I think one of our primary goals should be fun. I think that
Hmm.
what we do is fun. And if we're not having fun doing it, we're ruining that experience for
Hmm.
students. Well, Felicity, thank you so much for joining me. This is a great conversation. I hope to, be able to speak to you again. Maybe when you get 1 million followers, maybe we'll
Okay.
do a little catch up with you.
Yes.
Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.